It is late. The soft glow of your monitor is the only light left in the room. You just submitted the quarterly report, sacrificing another weekend. Before you can close the laptop, a Slack notification cuts through the silence. Hey, can we do a quick sync tomorrow to go over minor revisions? Your chest tightens. This is no longer dedication. It is pure psychological attrition. You are trapped inside an endless loop of shifting KPIs, micromanagement, and weaponized urgency. The corporate machine demands your sanity, offering nothing but severe burnout in return. You are exhausted, not because you lack resilience, but because the entire system is structurally rigged against you. We cannot dismantle the toxic corporate infrastructure overnight. HR is definitely not coming to save you, and your manager will never spontaneously respect your personal boundaries. But we can systematically neutralize their leverage. What you need right now is not another corporate wellness seminar or toxic positivity. You need a tactical mental algorithm. Today, we are deploying Stoicism, not as an ancient spiritual lecture, but as a pragmatic defense mechanism to hack modern office politics and survive the relentless corporate grind. We will dissect specific, actionable frameworks from minds who navigated empires, far more volatile than your open plan office. These are strategic maneuvers to reclaim your autonomy, shield your energy from passive-aggressive colleagues, and dominate hidden power dynamics. Save this briefing. Absorb the tactical intel. Tomorrow morning when you log in, the power dynamic permanently shifts. Let us initialize the core defense modules: the threat, the sudden project pivot, and the endless revision loop. You submit the deliverable, it hits the brief perfectly. The metrics are aligned. Then comes the email from the client, or upper management, sent casually at 4 p.m. on a Friday. We decided to take this in a completely different direction. Let's scratch this and start over. Your hours of meticulous labor are suddenly voided. The endless revision loop begins, draining your creative bandwidth and pushing your baseline stress into the red zone. Marcus Aurelius observed in his private journals, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." The office application. Detach your ego from the deliverable. You are not your work. When they request a massive, unprovoked pivot, do not defend your initial output. Do not waste energy writing a defensive email outlining why your strategic direction was superior. Acknowledge the shift with clinical, emotionless precision. Reply, "Understood." Realigning to the new parameters will adjust the project timeline by 72 hours and require an expansion of the current scope. Please confirm approval to proceed with these adjustments. The system bypass. By removing your emotional attachment, you stop bleeding mental energy over discarded work. More importantly, you reframe their subjective whim into an objective resource calculation. You force them to quantify their indecision. Often, when faced with the tangible cost of a pivot in time or budget, the sudden change of direction evaporates. You protect your time by weaponizing the project scope. You do not argue, you simply present the invoice for their chaos. The threat, the 5 p.m. manufactured crisis. The email marked urgent in all caps, CCing the department head regarding a non-critical KPI slip or a minor administrative oversight. It is a manufactured emergency. It is designed to force you into reactive mode. Colleagues and middle managers often use artificial urgency to offload their own internal anxiety onto your shoulders. They want you to panic so they feel seen. Seneca stated, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The office application. Do not match their manufactured panic. Do not instantly jump into a triage Zoom call. Apply a 15-minute tactical delay. Review the data objectively. Is there an actual system failure or just a bruised ego? Respond with a sterile, factual status update. Data received, evaluating the root cause. A brief status report will be provided at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Then log off. Close the laptop. The system bypass, panic, is a highly contagious office virus. By installing a buffer of calculated silence, you quarantine the infection. You deny them the immediate emotional validation they are unconsciously seeking. By the next morning, the emergency usually downgrades itself to a routine operational task. You remain the anchor of rationality in a sea of performative stress. You control the tempo of the crisis. The threat, the saboteur's CC escalation. A colleague fails to deliver their part of the project pipeline. To cover their tracks, they send an email to you, CCing the department director, phrasing it as, just following up on your end of the pipeline so we don't miss tomorrow's deadline. They are preemptively shifting the blame for their own incompetence onto your desk. It is a calculated political strike. Epictetus commanded, if evil be spoken of you and it be true, correct yourself. If it be a lie, laugh at it. The office application. Do not engage in a messy, emotional reply-all war. Do not write a defensive, multi-paragraph essay detailing their specific failures. Reply directly to the thread. Keeping the director CC'd. Keep it devastatingly brief and strictly factual. Attach the receipts. My deliverables were uploaded to the shared drive on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Awaiting your inputs to finalize the integration. Let me know if you need the link. Resent. The system bypass. Office politics thrive in ambiguity and emotional reactions. You neutralize this by flooding the interaction with cold, undeniable data points. The saboteur expects you to either panic or attack, which makes you look unprofessional and erratic to leadership. A purely factual response acts as a mirror, reflecting their incompetence back onto them, under the spotlight they created. They trap themselves in their own maneuver. You win by simply stating the timeline. The threat, the micromanaging supervisor. They demand hourly updates. They question your methodology. They insist on reviewing every minor draft before it moves to the next stage. They are suffocating your productivity under the guise of quality control and alignment. They treat you like an algorithm, not an autonomous professional. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. The office application, preempt the strike. Do not wait for them to demand an update. Overwhelm them with structured information before they can ask. Send an end-of-day summary, listing completed milestones, pending bottlenecks, and your explicit action plan for tomorrow morning. When they ask for unnecessary revisions on minor, irrelevant details, concede the trivial to protect the essential. Say, implemented your formatting change, proceeding with the core strategy. The system bypass. Micromanagement rarely stems from your actual incompetence. It stems from a manager's internal anxiety and lack of control over their own metrics. By feeding them predictable, structured updates, you satiate their anxiety algorithm. You give them the illusion of absolute control, while maintaining your operational autonomy in the background. You manage upwards by managing their fears. The threat, the phantom promotion, and hustle culture. The implicit corporate promise that if you consistently work 60-hour weeks, answer emails at midnight, and take on the workload of 3 people, you will eventually be rewarded with a massive promotion. It is a carrot dangled over a treadmill. It is the core driver of burnout, designed to extract maximum surplus value from your ambition. Seneca warned, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. The office application. Recalibrate your output to the actual compensation matrix. Stop volunteering for committees that do not affect your bottom line. Execute your core job description flawlessly, but hoard your surplus energy. Treat your time as a finite, heavily guarded corporate asset. When asked to take on a massive new project for the experience, request a prioritization meeting. Look them in the eye and state, I have the capacity to execute Project X to ensure quality standards. Should we pause Project Y or delegate Project Z? The system bypass. By forcing leadership to make explicit choices about your bandwidth, you establish boundaries that command respect. High performers who say yes to everything are rarely promoted. They are simply overloaded until they break, because they are too useful and cost-effective exactly where they are. Respect in the corporate hierarchy is not earned through martyrdom. It is commanded through leverage and scarcity. The threat, the faction alignment trap. Colleagues try to pull you into office gossip. They corner you to complain about leadership, or attempt to force you to take sides in a departmental Cold War. They demand your emotional alignment to validate their own frustrations. Marcus Aurelius noted, "You always own the option of having no opinion." The office application. Maintain absolute diplomatic neutrality. When a coworker corners you in the break room, or sends a private Slack message venting about another colleague, become a black hole for gossip. Absorb the sound. Emit nothing. Nod, say, "That sounds like a complex situation," and pivot immediately back to workflow. Do not agree. Do not disagree. The system bypass, information in an office, is a weapon. When you participate in gossip, you hand over ammunition that will inevitably be used against you when alliances shift. By having no opinion, you become a non-combatant in their petty faction wars. You retain professional invulnerability. They cannot quote your silence. You protect your peace by refusing to play their game. The system is designed to make you confuse your job title with your identity. It is a calculated manipulation. When you tether your self-worth to a quarterly performance review, you hand them the ultimate leverage. It is time to initiate a hard system disconnect. Your career is not a calling. It is a straightforward economic transaction. You trade your specialized bandwidth for capital. That is the absolute extent of the contract. Those shifting KPIs, the arbitrary deadlines, the executive approvals, they are just temporary variables on a sterile dashboard. They do not dictate your baseline value. Stop seeking emotional validation from an entity that would backfill your position tomorrow to optimize its profit margins. Clock in. Execute your deliverables with lethal precision. Clock out. You are an autonomous operator, not a depreciating asset. Detach your ego from their machinery. Deploy one of these tactical frameworks tomorrow morning. Watch how quickly the power dynamics shift when you stop reacting and start operating. If you're ready to stop bleeding energy and start treating your career as a calculated operation, acknowledge this briefing. Leave a footprint by typing Stoic Professional in the comments to verify your alignment with the Citadel Protocol. Conserve your bandwidth, maintain absolute operational distance, and I will see you at the next strategic sync. Log off.